How does someone with a steady job and a regular paycheck end up sitting still for a few seconds before opening their banking app? Uncle Mike knows that feeling well, not because he's poor, but because every time he opens the app, he's not sure what he's going to see. Mike is 45 years old. He has a stable job, a wife named Linda, a teenage son, no luxury car, no designer collections, no extravagant vacations, and yet every month feels exactly the same. Mike doesn't open his bank account to see how much his money has grown. He opens it to calculate how many days are left until payday. The irony is that Mike truly believes he lives pretty frugally. Just a morning coffee, just a quick lunch, just a few small rewards after exhausting days, just the money disappears. Mike has no problem spending $200 on a pair of shoes because, come on, I worked hard all week. But if his car broke down tomorrow or an unexpected bill showed up, he's not sure he could even cover $500 without stress. If you've ever swiped your card confidently, then quietly avoided your bank statement at the end of the month, hit subscribe. Mike could use some company. And honestly, you might too. And if you stay until the end of this video, you'll see why a budgeting method so simple it almost sounds ridiculous helped Mike finally see where his money was going and quietly laid the groundwork for saving his first $20,000 even without a dream salary. Because Mike's story began on a very ordinary morning when Linda placed a stack of plain white envelopes on the kitchen table. That morning, Mike left the house earlier than usual. On the way to work, he stopped by his usual coffee shop. No thinking, no hesitation. One quick swipe, done. Just a few dollars. At lunch, his coworkers invited him out. Mike said yes. He didn't want to be the guy bringing leftovers from home. A little over $10. Normal. On the way home, the gas needle dipped low. Mike pulled into a station and filled the tank. Necessary. That night, Mike checked his bank balance. The number was lower than he expected. "That's strange," he muttered. "I didn't buy anything big." He tried to think back. No new TV, no trips, no single purchase large enough to explain it. Every expense was small, familiar, and reasonable. The problem was Mike only remembered each expense on its own. He never saw them standing next to each other. He had no real budget, no clear limits, no number telling him when to stop. Money left his account little by little, so gently it never hurt. And when you don't measure something, you can't control it. For the first time, Mike didn't ask how to make more money. He asked something else. Where did my money actually go? Mike never thought of himself as an emotional spender. He didn't shop out of anger or boredom. He just had a harmless phrase he used all the time. It's just a few dollars. Morning coffee, just a few dollars. Lunch, just a few dollars. Takeout, just a few dollars. Each decision made sense on its own, and that was the trap. The brain doesn't react to small pain. No pain means permission to repeat. And Mike repeated it, day after day. Then there was something else quietly working in the background. Pride. Mike didn't want to say no, didn't want to seem cheap. Didn't want to be the dad who was always calculating. And after exhausting workdays, he had one more excuse ready. I deserve this. No one ever told Mike that rewarding yourself is wrong. The problem was he never set a limit. He never asked the second question. Not, is this worth it, but is this happening over and over again? What repeats long enough stops being small. It becomes a habit. And habits withdraw money every day without asking. Mike finally understood why the end of every month felt so tight. Not because he spent irresponsibly, but because he spent unconsciously. It's just a few dollars, he used to think. But a few dollars, every day, was never harmless. Linda didn't lecture him. She simply sat down and placed a stack of plain white envelopes on the table. "I want us to try something different," she said. "One envelope for each category. Food, bills, gas, miscellaneous." Mike frowned. "That's old school." "It is," Linda nodded, "but I want us to see the money." They withdrew cash for the week. Holding the bills felt strangely unfamiliar. When was the last time Mike actually handled his money? Each bill went into an envelope. and with every one, the amount visibly shrank. No app, no scrolling numbers, just money and empty space. That afternoon, Mike took the food envelope grocery shopping. At checkout, he opened it and stopped. The money was already thinner. He put one item back on the shelf, not because he was afraid of being poor, but because he could finally see his limit. For the first time, the banking app and the cash matched. Money hadn't vanished. It had been leaving little by little, and Mike had never stopped long enough to watch. Mike slowly realized something important. He wasn't broken, and he wasn't alone. The system around him was designed to make spending feel invisible. Credit cards removed the pain, no cash leaving his hands. Just a quick tap and a polite confirmation screen. Apps made everything effortless. Buy now. One click. Saved cards. The less friction there was, the easier it became to say yes. Even bigger purchases didn't feel heavy anymore. Installments quietly split the cost into small, harmless-looking pieces. $30 here. $40 there. Nothing that triggered alarm. Nothing that demanded attention. Everything encouraged motion, but nothing encouraged reflection. Mike realized he had never been taught to see money, only how to move it. And that's where the envelopes felt different. They didn't vibrate in his pocket. They didn't offer rewards or points. They didn't say, buy now or you deserve this. They simply sat there. Real money, finite money, money that ended when the envelope was empty. The envelope didn't try to control Mike. It didn't scold him. It didn't demand discipline. It asked only one thing: awareness. And for the first time in a long while, Mike was actually paying attention. The second week didn't feel dramatic. It felt quieter. Mike still went to work, still drove the same car, still lived the same life. But his relationship with money had changed. In the morning, he brewed coffee at home. Not because he banned himself from the cafe, but because when he reached for the food envelope, he paused. Do I really want this? Or is this just habit? Some days he spent more than planned. He noticed. He adjusted. No panic. No guilt. Just awareness. In the evenings, Mike sat down with Linda and reviewed subscriptions he barely remembered signing up for. A streaming service he never watched. An old app he forgot to cancel. Small amounts until they weren't. The money he saved didn't feel like a win. The calm did. You seem different, Linda said one night. I'm not afraid to look at money anymore, Mike replied. He wasn't richer, he wasn't perfect. But for the first time in years, Mike felt like he was the one holding the steering wheel, instead of being dragged along for the ride. On Sunday night, Mike organized the envelopes. Some were thin, some still full. None were perfect. But all of them told the truth. Money had never betrayed him. He just hadn't been looking. The envelope didn't make Mike rich overnight, but it gave him something he'd been missing: clarity. And once you can see where your money goes, the next question comes naturally. How do you keep some of it for yourself? In the next video, Mike learns the habit of pay yourself first, setting aside 10% before spending, building an emergency fund, and long-term peace of mind. If Mike's story feels familiar, leave a comment. Have you ever tried budgeting or the envelope method? And if this video helped, don't forget to like and subscribe to follow Mike's journey every week.